Hey, we're raiding the cellar today. We're going for some 2010 Bordeaux from Chateau Brown. Welcome back to Drinking It In. I am your host, Chris Cassara. We're here to help you know more and drink better. And today we're raiding the cellar. Like I said in the intro, I have a bunch of 2010 wines in the cellar. And today we're going to be talking about a 2010 Bordeaux from Chateau Brown of the Pessac-Leognan region. So a while back, it's at least 10 years at this point, right around when the 2010s were coming out, I did a tasting of Chateau Brown wines at Marty's Fine Wines in Newton, Mass. They have an amazing wine program, giant selection, and I haven't gotten many emails from them recently, but they used to do amazing tastings that if you got in early, right, because they only had like 18 spots, you could taste some incredible wines free of charge. Although normally you walk out, even though the tasting was free of charge, you walk out quite a bit lighter given the purchases you made. So I think, when it seems weird to be named Chateau Brown in France, right? But John Lewis Brown was a rich Scottish wine trader and created the estate in the early 1800s. They have a really great philosophy around growing the grapes, the way that they tend to their vineyards, right? It's a very, very sustainable philosophy. They have lots of cover crops and beehives and flowers and all kinds of stuff where it seems like it's how it should be, but I guess it's more the exception than the norm. The winery was sold in 2004 to the Mao family from China, and they've continued to invest in the winery and in the distribution of the wine. So Chateau Brown continues to make inroads certainly in the U.S. I see it on store shelves fairly regularly. Now, these wines are like hand harvested. They use optical sorting machines so that nothing other than grapes gets into the winemaking process. So this is some serious stuff. So Pessac-Leognan, it's on the left bank of the Gironde. And so left bank means wines are usually Cabernet Sauvignon dominant, even though they're all Bordeaux blends, Cabernet Sauvignon in this case and something else. This guy is basically neighbors with what? I think it's Chateau, it's like Haut-Brion, Pop Clement, like some serious wineries where the wines are hundreds and hundreds of dollars. This guy is right around the corner. So, I think it's one of those things. It's an easy way, a somewhat easy way to enter into that market that otherwise you couldn't touch. This particular wine is 55% Cabernet Sauvignon, 40% Merlot, and 5% Petit Verdot. 12 to 15 months kind of in barrel. French oak is 40% new. Monty, stop. 40% used once and 20% used twice. Now, so Chateau Brown, the website, I'll put it in the link below. The amount of volume the amount of details that they give you in terms of describing each wine year by year is just amazing. And I wish more wineries would do that. You can see the cork was pretty well lubricated, right? No problem opening the wine. So that was exciting because normally with the wines that are at least over 10 years old, what I found is the cork tends to break pretty easily. Let's, and I've opened this. I just opened it and let it sit on the counter 24 hours ago. So let us see what this wine is like 14 years after the vintage. And I guess technically, it's early 2025. I'm not going to consider it 15 years. It's dark. It's deep. Oh, that's, yeah, there's lots of cedar and blackberries. I'm getting some smoke, a little bit of smoke, nothing like really smoky. there's something desserty about this, in that it's going to come across like, I feel like it's going to come across a little sweeter. This has Napa Cabernet vibes through and through. But the nose is not jumping out of the glass. I've got to get in there and really, not really search for it, but I've got to get in there and really search for it. I'm smelling a bunch of the baking spices, you know, and well, I guess some vanilla too. So all the oak characteristics are coming through. Again, this was 40% used, you know, 40% new, 40% used once. It's it almost smells a little more like it was, more of the percentages was new oak, but it's not over oaked. Yeah, the fruit is gorgeous in this. Let's give it a try. I think lots to talk about here. Hopefully my mic is working because it's kind of a little off when I wear a sweater. So this wine is very, very, very velvety. It's silky on the palate. The black fruit, it's almost a little heavy, right? So let's, what are we dealing with? 14% alcohol by volume. When I say heavy, like this almost, if you think of, this is definitely a heavyweight wine, right? This is not a medium weight wine. This is a big one, heavyweight wine. So if you think of it like a cream perspective, this is more towards heavy cream than it is towards skim milk. It has a little weight on the palate. There is very little in the way of tannins here. Like, this is really easy to drink. There's nothing that is making my mouth pucker. The alcohol is so very well contained. I guess, you know, the more I smell it, the more this does smell a little bit like an old leather chair. But the fruit is there, right? Blackberries, black currants for days. I've had this wine in my possession for at least 10 years. It's gone through 1, 2, 3, 4 moves. None of the cellar/storage was perfect condition-wise, except for the one I had in Washington, D.C., because I had to actually store my wine outside of the apartment in a storage facility that specialized in wine. So other than that, like 9 months to a year, this wine has been in, you know, conditions that have been mainly between 60 and 68 degrees. I think, you know, why this has a lot of life left. This really, really came out great. The quality of this, the way it was stored, really, really nice. But where I was going with that before is wine is tougher than you think. If you don't have a wine cellar, don't stress out about the fact that your temperature is 65 degrees. As long as it's not going from 60 degrees to, if you hear a little clinking, that's Monty biting my glass. Dude, sorry. So if, you know, as long as your temperature swings are manageable and like within, let's just say within 6 degrees, so it's maybe like, okay, 64 degrees in the cold weather, but it never gets above, you know, 70, you know, the wine can last in that environment a lot longer than you think. Colder the better, more consistent the better, but if you keep it away from light and you care for it, these things can live. This guy's got 10 more years on it, I would say, because the fruit is really, really bouncing. Good stuff. I'm glad I rated the Cellar. We're going to be rating the Cellar again really soon. We're going to do a 1999 Nebbiolo that I purchased recently. So this was stored under ideal conditions for like 23 years. Hey, hopefully you like what I'm doing here. I appreciate you joining. 94.83% of you are not subscribed. So while I appreciate you watching, hit that subscribe button. It would really mean a lot to me in this new year. And you'd start the new year off right. I'll talk to you guys soon. I should pour some and cheers. You don't want to cheers with an empty glass. Cheers.